And I feel like we should have started with dancing. Why didn't I think about that? Susie's so fantastic. When she does live streams, you see her standing up in her office and she's bumping, she's having fun with her music and she's dancing, and it just really brings the energy up into the room, and people are commenting and engaging, and it's really rad. So definitely, for those of you who are joining us live, let us know where you are joining us from. Just make a comment below. I'm just curious to see where you guys are from. But I have to tell you about Susie. So I met Susie many years ago, back when she was working very intimately with Lisa Nichols and helping to build her global brand. And it was through working with them that I got brought in as the book launch coordinator, helping them make #1 on a couple of their books, which was exciting. But Susie is like a comet blasting through the universe with who she is. She has an incredible heart. She is incredibly intelligent. She has the serious side because she can get shit done, and I love that about her. And she helps authors, speakers, coaches, small businesses to grow from about 250,000 a year, let's say, all the way up to 10 million. Now, if you want to know what on earth is holding you back from having a multi-million-dollar business, then you definitely want to listen up to this interview. We're going to talk about all sorts of cool things today. I'm just going to pick her brain. And Susie, before I ask you your first question, I have to share my screen to let you guys know that Susie has a webinar today. It's coming up really soon here at 11 a.m. Pacific, and the conversation that we're going to have is a little bit of a preamble to this webinar. And it wasn't planned this way. I've just been wanting to interview Susie for a while, but she just happened to be having a webinar today that I really believe in. I'm signed up for it myself. There's more than 1,000 other people signed up for it. And Patty on my team is going to paste a link so that you guys can sign up and watch it live or participate in the replay. But, and I will bring that back up again here toward the end. But Susie, thank you so much for spending some time here with me. You're a very busy lady, so I appreciate it. And I want to get started by asking you, what should we know about our relationship with money? Because I feel like a lot of people have a bad relationship with money. Yes. What do we need to do to try to correct that or shift our thinking so that we are open to making money?
Well, if you think about it, and first, thank you. Hello, good morning. So good to see you guys. It's morning for me. It's a little afternoon for you, or mid-morning for you. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited that you guys are here. I'm so excited that we get to pour into you. You know, this is one of the funnest topics on the planet when you can embrace it. So I always say, I have a mantra that wealth is our birthright. Right. And I say that because I came from nothing, right? We were poor. And I don't mean the kind of poor that you didn't know you were poor. This was the kind of poor you knew you were poor. This was the kind of poor that, you know, when groceries ran out, you just had to wait till the paycheck came in before you went and bought some more groceries. Right. This was, you know, your, you know, white bread sandwich. Hopefully there was some meat. If not, you just had a piece of government cheese, kind of poor. You know? There was 9 kids. Bobby, Ronnie, Stevie, Terry, Joni, Shelley, Susie, Kelly, Debbie. 9 of us in 1,200.
Oh my gosh.
1,200 square feet, Amber. 6 girls and 1 bathroom.
What?
3 boys. And the crazy part is 2 bedrooms. I don't know. Like I go back to
I did not know this. I don't know how we've been working together. I do not know this. Wow.
Oh my God, it's so crazy. And so I knew, you know, people discern in many different ways. People discern by what they want, and people discern what they don't want, right? And from what you don't want, you choose what you do want. Well, I'm the discernment of, I know I don't want that. I don't know what the other part looks like, but I just know I don't want that. You know, everything, when you have that many kids, everything is brown. You got to keep it. There's no keeping anything clean. So I chose early on, right, that wealth was my birthright. And I knew the great lesson my dad did give me is he said, Sue, you can do whatever you want. You just have to work hard. Right. So we didn't have this conversation, go to college. It was, you know, get a job, get a husband. Those were the 2 directives because you're moving out.
Yeah, right.
That many kids, you are moving out at 18. There is no ifs, ands, or but, go. And so early on, you just had to learn how to deal with it. So as a young kid, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I would mow lawns, clean toilets, babysit, whatever I needed to do to get some money to buy my bicycle. To my fetish was underwear. Because again,
Right, clean. Yeah, I get it.
6 girls, everything was a hand-me-down, and there's 2 under me. So I'm saying everything was a hand-me-down. I did not want used panties. So I immediately I got to get a job so I can buy my own underwear and hide them.
I love that.
That kind of poor. So I just learned early on I need to master this thing called money. I need to figure out how to make money. And I didn't have a formal education, right? I have a PhD, and I don't know if you know that, but my PhD is my public high school diploma.
That's awesome. Don't you love this woman? Come on. She's amazing. She's so real. I love it.
And so I just figured out how to start leveraging what it is that I was doing. I got married young because that's what my dad told me to do. It was not the right marriage, right? Because at 17, what do you know about picking a husband, right? I met him when I was 17. We got married when I was 20. We were divorced by 25. I had 2 little kids. And when I left, the baby was 6 months old and my daughter was 18 months old.
Wow.
No child support, no alimony. So I had to hustle. I had to really go, how am I going to take care of my children? And that, I think that the gifts that you have they don't look like gifts. The gifts that you get are sometimes wrapped in sandpaper. And that was a sandpaper gift, because it made me roll up my sleeves. It made me hustle. It made me, as a parent, as a mother, the things you will do for your children versus for yourself. I got really strategic on Mickey Bunny. I was a hairdresser and did $250,000 a year, 3 days a week as a hairdresser. And the average.
That's remarkable.
Yes. Crazy.
That is remarkable.
I like shoes. So, shoes and daycare. I had to figure those two things out. And so I grew that business and created a multi-million-dollar business inside of that industry. We're the top 1% in the nation, top 10% in the world. And we earned that by the productivity that we did. What I knew how to do is how to hustle. I knew how to book clients. I knew how to make money, and then opened a salon and spa and became the top in the industry. And then people would ask me, how did you do that? And I'm like, well, let me show you. And then realized there's another business here.
Yeah, right.
Created the largest training and development company in the beauty industry, and then sold that for millions to Ritker's Publishing, Thompson Learning. And along that journey, people, normal, I say regular entrepreneurs would say, Susie, will you coach me? I'm like, I know nothing about your business. I'm not coaching you. No, I don't know anything about graphic design. I don't know anything about the craziest business I coached, Amber, was there were a hardware store, and it was a mom and pop business. And in the middle of the hardware store, mom opened a jewelry store. So imagine like a Home Depot, and then in the middle of Home Depot,
no, how?
There's a jewelry store, and get this, fine jewelry, Rolex, carat diamonds, beautiful diamond rings. But
that's a location issue.
Well, here's the beauty of it. That location was doing 3 million. The hardware store was doing 1 million. And when I met them, they're like, we're pulling the jewelry store out. I'm like, whoa, time out. Don't pull it out. Like, the men that came to that location didn't want to go into a pretentious jewelry store. They didn't want to go into and be intimidated. They were dealing with mom, right? And then their daughter. And that was the most profitable piece of the business, was right in the middle, this little tiny jewelry store. So you never know, right? There's blessings all around you. So we just looked at the whole strategy. And when we took that on, I didn't know how to do that. But what I do know is business. So for the last 15 years, I've been coaching entrepreneurs in how to grow a business, sustain a business, and there's money everywhere. There is money everywhere. And part of it's our mindset, part of it's our limitation, part of it's our relationship, part of it's our limiting belief, part of it's a deservability, right? All those things, when we look at money, it stops us. And money is a masculine energy. So if you look at, women have a harder time accumulating, mastering it, and you start looking at the foundation and the underlying beliefs of money, it's got masculinity tied to it. So if you have any kind of dad issues or authority issues, or you have a tendency to resist, right? And what you resist persists, or you're afraid of it or nervous of it. And, so I love that, diving deep, not just in the strategy around business, but what's your relationship with money, right? What's your inherited relationship from our parents and our grandparents? What's our community relationship? Like, how does your community deal with money and credit? And, is it a healthy relationship? So there's so many little things that I believe business and money is like. Remember in school, we'd have those padlocks on your locker?
Oh, yeah.
And remember, one little tick off, that sucker wouldn't open, right? You go 22, 64.
It was so annoying. Totally. Every time.
So that's money, right? That's your business. One little tick off. And you know this, you're a business strategist. One little tick, you come in and you just tweak a couple things in someone's business and we start making it rain. And they're like, how'd you do that? It's because we have that experience of going, it's just a tick. Like, let's figure out where your stop block is. Let's figure out what's working, what's not working. And let's open up the floodgates to your prosperity.
Okay, everybody.
That was a lot.
I hope that you are feeling what I am feeling in this moment, that like, okay, I got to pay attention to this woman. Got to sign up for the webinar, got to follow her on social media, got to figure out how she can help make it rain in my business. And so I'm actually super duper fortunate to be working with Susie. And I hope it's okay that I'm saying this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So
look, you can tell anything
I know, I love that about you. But I mention it because Susie has a book that's coming out next year that is going to be a total game changer for small businesses. And I know a lot of people say that, and there's so much hype these days, but like, I can tell you, having worked so intimately with Susie, getting deep into her business, into her teachings, and with her community and her team, number one, that she's the real deal. High integrity, so giving, so loving, really takes care of everybody around her. I don't honestly know how she does it all sometimes. But on the other side of it, like, she is getting unbelievable results for her people. Not just hype fluff stuff, but like, she goes in laser focused, she fixes it, she does the tick. Susie, can I ask you to brag about yourself for a moment and just share some of the stats, some of the big results that you've been able to get? I mean, obviously you spoke about your own business success, which was remarkable, but then going into Lisa's brand and others, just a couple highlights so people really get a sense of what's possible.
Yeah. So, with Lisa's brand, when I first met her many, many, many years ago, we've had a long history. And I'm the kind of business coach that if you're doing the work, we should be getting results. So if you're not doing the work, I'm gonna fire you, because it doesn't make sense. It's not about money. Money is a fair exchange. It's about your growth and development. So the thing I love about Lisa is she's a great student. You tell her to do something, she would do it. And so we started at $80,000 and built her business to almost $10 million. Right. And that was in a 10-year period. So when I took over her company, I was a COO and president of that company. She was at about 800,000. Previously, I was just her business coach. But then when I took it over, we started systematizing everything, and then took the company public, which neither one of us knew how to do. But what we did know how to do is find the right people and find the right system that you could learn how to do that. And to take a company public, girl, that is challenging, right?
Oh my gosh.
They know everything about everything, and your systems have to be meticulous. You're being audited every quarter. You have to dot your I's, cross your T's. There's no hiding anything, right? Everything's out in the open. So to be able to do that as an organization, it was phenomenal just inside of that. I have Dr. Judy, who's been a client of mine for about 5 years. We took her from 1 million to 4.8 million. And the first year we worked with her, we went from 1 million to 2.2 million in 1 year. Just again, looking at where's the money you're leaving on the table, right? That's my genius, is I see money everywhere. I see money in opportunity. I see money in relationships. I see money that you're leaving on the table going, oh, do you know if we could do this? I think one of the biggest challenges that we have as entrepreneurs is pricing and valuing our worth inside of the community and inside of what you're up to and what you're doing. And so to really be able to have an objective party look at that and go, well, here's what you should be charging based on your overhead, right? So I have story after story after story. Kathy Kidd came to me. She was doing $60,000 a year in publishing. And the first year we started working together, we took her to $500,000 a year. So there's, when you find the right team and the right coach to support you, miracles can occur, right? Now you have to be in radical action.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Amber's my book coach, and she tells me to do something, I'm in radical action, and what's next? Right? That's the kind of clients you love to work with, that are going to do the things you tell them to do, right? But you shorten the learning curve, right? You can shave 10 years off of somebody's learning curve by having the right systems and structures in place.
I'm loving this. So we've talked about mindset, we've talked about systems, we've talked about team. What are some of the tips that you have to be a more effective leader for your team so that they are hustling for you and driving you towards scaling? Like, what are some of the things you do?
Thank you. One is constant improvement, right? So I have coaches in many areas of my life, right? So I have 2 financial coaches, right? One's a tax strategist, one's an investment strategist, right? To really look at long-term, not short-term. We, as entrepreneurs, we don't want to spend every dollar that we make. We want to save and really set yourself up to win. I have a business coach that I work with. You have you as my book coach. I have a personal development coach, or AKA therapist. Right?
You're right. We all need one of those.
Because the reality is you need people who are willing to say what you don't want to hear, show you what you don't want to see, so that you could be the person you knew you could be. So we need to have people around you that can hold you higher than what you know yourself to be. So I have a really high accountability in my life because I'm playing a big game. I want the tongue in my mouth and my tongue in the shoe going in the same direction. Because a lot of times we see leaders and they say one thing, but they do something else.
It drives me crazy.
Bananas, right? Bananas.
Can't even handle it.
Wait, you just said this, but you see their family, their teams, they're gossiping about them. Their families don't talk to them. That's not the kind of life I want. Money's not worth that to me.
No.
Right. What's worth it to me is that my team, I love my team. I hold them accountable, right? I'm not like codependent. I'm going to hold you accountable to what you need to do and say you do. But, I'm ride or die with my team, ride or die with my family, and my kids are at an age where they could just go away and never talk to me again. And we, see each other every week, where we might be a little codependent. I'm not going to lie, but we just love each other that much. And so for me, creating that environment, which is staying humble and being humble, and being willing to have people who are 10 steps ahead of you, right? I want you to find a coach that's 10 steps ahead of you that can support you, versus I want someone on my team that's going to support me and rah-rah, but that's not the only thing we're paying for, right? I want someone that's
100%. Thank you for
push me, grow me, stretch me, make me uncomfortable. Like when I get off the phone with Amber, you guys, this is hilarious. I'm like, this is what my clients must feel like. I need a nap.
Okay, I love that. I'm so glad that was recorded, because it really is about challenging the situation and having us all up level, right? Because otherwise, what am I doing? Right. I love that. And, having such an intimate vantage point in Susie's organization has been really wonderful. What I really appreciate about Susie is that she is willing to invest in hiring the best, right? So she doesn't want to waste her time or anybody else's. And so when you work with Susie, she expects you to bring it. And it's just this beautiful accountability. She doesn't even have to say anything. She doesn't have to remind you of it, but just being around her, you want to be your best and always bring your best to it. So it's really wonderful. It's neat seeing her team and the different vendors that she works with all showing up in that same capacity as well. And, Susie is such a driver. I mean, we talked about hustle earlier. It's like, if you ask her to do something, consider it done probably that day or the next day. And she's busy at this level of business. She's doing live events year round. She has her global leadership program that's it is for serious business owners who are really ready to grow, not hype, actually get results. And so she's pouring a lot into her GLP program and her clients there. She's speaking, she's featured on the press all over the place. I mean, she's busy. So it's remarkable to me when I'm like, hey, I need you to go do this. It's like, done, give me more, next, because she just has this trust. And it really helps me to up level, helps the rest of the team to up level. Everybody's working in harmony to support her. We want to. And so that's why I wanted to ask you about leadership, because you really do inspire your team and hold them accountable in a loving and professional way too. So it's been really neat to be a part of, and I appreciate that, Susie. And gosh, there's so many other things that I want to ask you, and I realize that we're winding down on our time. So maybe a couple last things to touch on. One would be, you are so good at running events, live events, right? So what is it? What are a couple of things that come to mind that contribute to you running such successful events?
Well, I love that you said team, because team's most important. And I want you to realize that team isn't always paid team. So my events, 90% of those people are volunteers, but they're people who are in my tribe. They're people that have been in my tribe for a long time, and we have training for them. So I'm training them just as from the minute we look at how the event's going to go, how do we open the door? How do we set up the room? How do we greet customers? What's the goal? What's the financial goal? And everybody knows the conversation, right? So it's not, I'm going to put an event on and hope it all works out. Everything is planned out, from where we set our pens to where we set our handbooks. And when people leave the room, how we reset the room. So every detail is planned out. You want to think about it like, remember, and if you haven't been married, but imagine hosting a wedding, right? You had excruciating pain over everything, every little flower, every little detail, every little food, same thing, right? You want to have that kind of relationship with, this is an event for people, and people are investing their time and money. They want to be wowed. Don't just slop something together. And I learned how to do that, Amber, by being a volunteer at other people's events and looking at what worked and what didn't work. No, I didn't get paid for that. And I still have an organization that I volunteer for, because it keeps me humble. It keeps me looking at, what am I doing in my events? What am I not doing in my events? I love going to other people's events, right? And borrowing best practices. Notice the word borrow best practices. I'm not stealing their stuff. I'm borrowing best practices, right? I want you to emulate, not imitate. Emulate, not imitate. Make it your own. Right? Because we've all seen the Tony Robbins wannabe, right? Right. What is that? And then the second thing that is important, you got your team and your systems. And the second thing is your budget, right? Going into an event. I have so many clients, I want to put an event on, but they have no mailing list. They don't have a sales team or sales structure. They don't have a budget. They're just willy-nilly spending money. And by the time they come to me, they're like, I'm 30,000 in the hole. How do I make money at this? Like, well, the event's next week and you have no one signed up. So that's going to be a problem.
And it's expensive hosting events. So you really need to be careful going into it, that you know what you're doing.
Well, expensive hosting them, then if you don't walk away with any kind of up service, right? And I say up service, not upsell, because I don't want people to feel slime, to go, is it the right people coming in the room? Yeah. Right? You have to look at, am I attracting the ideal client, right? And the ideal client, by the way, y'all, is someone who can afford to pay you. There's no shame in that. We have to make a living at what we do. You do exceptional service, you do exceptional, give exceptional product or service, and they will come to you. It may take a while, but I find so many people go, I'm not making money. Well, you're working really hard and you're pitching or talking to people or working with people that have no money. Of course, it's not going to work out. And I think I learned that early on, cleaning people's houses as a kid and babysitting, is really your fees up front. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deliver my part. You have to deliver your part. Yeah. Right. And so it's important that you put that budget together going in, so there's no surprises, and go, and here's my back end strategy. And the back end strategy, you've got to have a team to support you. And the back end is, when we get there, how are people going to take action? How are you going to invite people to take action? Because my job is to educate and my client's job is to choose. They can choose to work with me or they can choose not to work with me, but my job is to educate. So there's, we have successfully $1 million events. Every event that we do, that's the goal, is to go, my goal for you is, if you put an event on, I want you a minimum $100,000 to $500,000 if you're first starting out. Right. And what's the strategy to do that? It's not chance. It's not luck. It's all about systems. And it can be fun, because it is fun, because math is money and money is fun. I've had both. I've had none and I've had some, and I've had lots, and I like lots.
That's such great advice that you're giving. And I think now, For those of you watching, you can see why I've aligned myself with Susie. I love her integrity. I love her approach, even when she says it's an up service, not an upsell. The way that she makes her clients feel, that she educates, she doesn't force. These are all, there's so many subtle but powerful pieces of wisdom that she shared throughout this entire session. And I just want to remind you all again that she is having this webinar later today. I'm very excited to attend. Susie, I'm just going to show them the screen one more time. And do you maybe want to just share like one or two things that you're going to talk about so that they
Oh my God, juicy, 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 juicy. So what I like to do is give you the things that I learned the hard way, right? So really, what do I do to create 7, 8, 9-figure businesses with my clients? There's simple, doable things that you can do, right? Really looking at leverage points inside of your business. What's the highest income producing activity only you can do? You know, Amber said it. She said, I hire people like I know what I'm great at, and then I need to outsource people who are playing in a bigger game and that can hold me accountable and my team accountable. So what are those activities that only you can do? Where's the money and where are you leaving it on the table? So we've got about an hour and 15 minutes, you know, inside of this program, you know, this afternoon. So I'm excited, love for you. It's all free. Come, you know, to see. And really it's an opportunity to go, ooh, I want more. I want to hear, you know, how do I leverage what I'm up to and what I'm doing? Because I can promise you wherever you're at, you're leaving money on the table. Wherever you're at, we can double your fun, double your money, double your sales, double the pleasure, because we know that.
I love it. No, that's great. So guys, and again, when we scheduled this Facebook Live, she didn't even have this on the book. So it's just such a great transition point. And I hope you guys can make it and see what you think about the rest of her teaching, because we literally just barely scratched the surface of it. And you could even definitely from there go to susiecarder.com and learn about her GLP program, learn about her next upcoming live event in September. Reach out, follow her on social media. And my last call to action for you guys is to make a comment below and let us know one or two things that especially meant a lot to you today based on this conversation, so that we have that feedback. And if you have any follow-up questions, just put them in the comments below and we'll be sure to respond. So I'm going to end this live stream now so that Susie can get to her next call. But I just want to thank you, Susie, for your time. I know it's precious, and for everybody who is able to attend.
Thanks, Amber. Thank you for being who you are in the industry. Thank you for being such an advocate for myself, but also for every client that you touch, because I get who you are in the world. Very similar to me. Money is the fair exchange, but it's all about contribution and how do I help people soar, grow, and make a difference in the world. So thank you for who you are.
Aw, okay.